Hi. Hello everyone, this is Aegon of Astora, and welcome back to my blind playthrough of Elden Ring. This is episode number... Thank you. This is episode number 16, being recorded on Saturday, September the 10th, 2022. I hope you're all having a fantastic day, whenever it is you find yourself watching this. Okay, I have a ton of items on the list here to my left. Easily the most items I've had on my list for 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 episodes. A lot of things that have just sort of come up over the course of, me just thinking about the game and the story and the playthrough and while doing other things. And also while editing the episodes up to this point. So I'm finally caught up on editing. Episode 13 was actually rendered and good to go. I had to do a sort of workaround. I still don't know what was going on there, but that's done. So again, a ton of things to talk about here. Some of it I think I'll probably just mention briefly because this list is in no particular order, but some of these things, it would make more sense for me to bring it up now and then maybe talk about it a bit more later, as opposed to just, standing here and... no. Okay. I love the online components of this game, honestly. I know they distract me occasionally when I'm doing commentary, but yeah, it really, even if you're not engaging with other players directly, it really does help you feel not alone in this massive, absolutely gargantuan world. And gargantuan and hostile world for the most part. So, first item on my list here is the Putrid Avatar, whom we fought here, right by the Minor Erd Tree in Caelid. And one thing I thought at the time, but perhaps I didn't verbalize when we were sort of sneaking up and I saw the Putrid Avatar from a distance was, wow, that thing looks a lot like a tree. And so I was thinking about the name Putrid Avatar and the drops. I think the drops we got, they were the stamina related tears. So I think it was these two. And so this doesn't tell us much in terms of the item descriptions. However, I think it says a lot when you combine that with the name of the boss. So Putrid, oh my gosh, these shadows from Soft. What is what is happening here? It's like dithering on the Sega Saturn or something. That's awful. Yeah. Whatever they did with this most recent update borked a large portion of the game, seemingly. Anyways, the Putrid Avatar. So putrid meaning essentially something that is gross and smelly and potentially impure or infected, something like that. Something smelly, but like there's a reason why it's smelling. And it brought me back, it made me think about an item we discussed very early in the playthrough, which is this one, the root resin. The roots of the great tree were once linked to those of the Erd tree, or so they say, and it is for this reason that catacombs are built around great tree roots. But so it doesn't actually say it, you have to look at the illustration. You see it's sort of this gross and presumably rotting stuff that is sort of oozing out of the tree. And so if you think about the way the Putrid Avatar looks, and you think about the whole idea of the rot and the name Putrid Avatar, so not only is it a smelly, gross, potentially impure thing, the adjective putrid, but avatar. In this game, for instance, regret is technically my avatar. I'm controlling regret, even though I'm not physically embodying regret. Like, you can make an argument to some degree I am, because I'm controlling the movements with the controller in my hand, but yeah, it's not quite the same. So, Putrid Avatar looks like a tree, is infected with rot, looks a lot like the putrid-looking resin in that item description. So I think, and drops the tears from the Minor Erd Tree. So what I think Putrid Avatar is essentially a manifestation, an avatar of the rot that is rotting or affecting that Erd tree, or perhaps all of the Erd trees and the Great Tree in general. It makes sense when you think about it. These are things that, I was sort of playing around with ideas of that in my mind while fighting the boss, maybe not verbalizing these thoughts because they were still developing. And in the process of editing that particular episode and just thinking about it as time has gone on, the name Putrid Avatar. So that is in the same way that the tears fell off the Erd tree that was in the Mistwood. We just picked it up. It was very easy, picked it up and went. And that's what I assumed was going to happen here as well. Obviously, that was not the case. So, Putrid Avatar. That was the first item on the list. The second item, I guess I probably should have started with this one, is that I am recording this episode in a higher resolution than any of the previous episodes. I believe I'm recording this at 1600 by 900, whereas before I was at 15 something by 8 something. So in other words, not quite recording at a full 1080p yet with 60 frames per second, but I am recording at 900p at 60 frames per second. So if this works out, I tinkered with some of my settings, and I think I had some of my settings wrong in a way that it wasn't fully optimal. So I think I still have some remaining juice that I can squeeze out of, juice so to speak, that I can squeeze out of my PC to ensure that the performance is a little bit better. So I'm just moving around and looking at the CPU usage on my right here. And, granted, there's not a heck of a lot going on because it's just us here, but I'm not seeing huge spikes in the CPU usage, which I would be seeing if this was a problem. I've missed 0.1% of frames due to rendering lag, which, yeah, you would rather that be 0, but 0.1% is really a vanishingly small number of frames. So far, so good. In other words, if you see any quality issues in this video, that's probably why, and I'll address it before the next episode. And I'm continually trying to improve the quality of the episodes as we go forward, but I don't want to take too big of a leap, because the larger the leap I make, the more likely we are to run into technical issues. So that's item number 2. Item number 3, and this is going back several episodes, to the episode in which we fought the Black Knife Assassin in one of the tunnels, or perhaps that was I think that was the Death Touch Catacombs. For some reason, we started the boss fight, and the boss only had about 50 or 60% HP. And so I wanted to point that out, because that wasn't something I pointed out when we did the boss fight. I don't even think I noticed it, because I was so, taken aback by the look of the boss and thinking about the lore implications that I didn't even think about or look at and notice the HP bar. And when I went back and I was fighting them, I was just like, wait, why do they only have 60% HP? And maybe it has something to do with the form of that friend, because I noted they didn't have a face. And so maybe there's some sort of hollow form such that you end up, as we've seen in previous Souls games, you end up with a smaller life bar because you are inflicted with a certain type of hollowing or something like that. So, or maybe it was a glitch. In any case, I thought I would mention it. Liurnia of the Lakes, about Liurnia sinking into the lake. So this is the lake here. It mentioned that in one of the item descriptions that the land was sinking into the lake. It's something I glossed over in the previous episode, but I want to keep that in mind as we go forward. I'm not really sure what that means, other than perhaps, like the Laskyar ruins is one example of, you can see the entire place is in fact sinking into the lake. But obviously there's something going on in the world that is creating issues of that sort, in terms of, it's not quite in the level of Dark Souls 3 where the whole landscape just doesn't make sense, but there are things happening of that sort. Next was the spell books, which we have a whole bunch of spell books we need to hand in, but I don't think we're going to do that in this episode. Maybe in the next one. I shouldn't put that off for too much longer, but that is something that is still on my list. And another thing, again, this is probably one that I'll mention and then come back to. again, provided that George R.R. Martin had any sort of influence on the story of this game, I am wondering about the tiny friends we encountered in the previous episode. So they were basically up here somewhere. Are they meant, are we to look at them as sort of an analog to the Children of the Forest from A Song of Ice and Fire? And yeah, the Children of the Forest were sorely underdeveloped in the television show Game of Thrones. There is a lot more going on there in the books, the Song of Ice and Fire books. So, I'm not sure if they're meant to be an analog to that, but the fact that in the previous episode when we were fighting them, they're using all sorts of tricks, they have smoke bombs and things like that, it sort of reminded me, the Children of the Forest in A Song of Ice and Fire, they're great with magic and, they know all sorts of tricks and things like that, and they're a very mystical sort of people. They were the population that was indigenous to what later becomes known as Westeros, before the Westerosi, quote-unquote, came over from I've already forgotten the name of the other continent. It hasn't even been that long since I've been steeped in the Song of Ice and Fire lore. But since Aegon the Conqueror came over from Valyria, and the continent that later became known as Westeros was settled by the people from, the other continent. I can't remember what it's called at the moment. But okay, so the question is now, where do we go from here? Do we proceed in this direction? Because there's a lighthouse here. That I think is actually probably the most obvious choice. And then we are going to want to come back here. There's a Evergaol here. We have this Lakeside Crystal Cave. Don't know if we fully explored this area yet, but I think it's probably easiest for us to just go and get the map to the remainder of the area, and it looks like it's in that direction. So let's do that. And again, it's interesting. I'm just thinking about how elaborate my list is and how long it is, and the number of things I was thinking about while preparing to record this episode. And okay, we've not checked out this area yet. All of these massive crystals here. I assume there's going to be at least one or two terrible things here, but yeah, those are some sort of crystal monsters. Oh, they're like little crystal dragons. Or snails? What the? I think they're snails. They're so cute, though. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm sorry. Hopefully they're not aggressive. Okay, they're like a dragon crossed with a snail. Gosh, they're so cute, though. I feel... Does it hurt? It doesn't hurt a great deal. Okay, they're definitely aggressive. Oh, gosh darn it. I want to drop, though. I want to learn more about them. So once again, not suggesting that FromSoft is just copying and pasting things, or that they're being lazy, or lacking in creativity or anything like that. However, they are let me rephrase. The magic users, the intelligence users, the sorcerers in this game are much like in Dark Souls 1 and Dark Souls 3, and I want to say in Dark Souls 2 as well, but I don't think crystals were as closely associated with, and maybe I'm remembering that wrong. Glintstone Firefly. I don't think in Dark Souls 2 they were quite as closely associated with sorcery, that is crystals. But in Dark Souls 1 and Dark Souls 3, crystal and sorcery were basically hand in hand. Or, I don't know, crystal and Ball. I don't know. That was a terrible joke. Glintstone Firefly. I think we had at least a few of those. It says widely found in Liurnia Lake. A firefly whose glowing tail has hardened into glintstone, widely found in Liurnia Lake. Alas, now that its tail is glintstone, it can no longer beguile potential mates. So then, how the heck do they reproduce? If that's the case, that's interesting. But yeah, it's a thing in Dark Souls 1 and Dark Souls 3 and in Dark Souls 2 to some degree. Like there's Brightstone Cove Seldora. And there was lots of... Yeah, I guess in Brightstone Cove there was... On the way there, I want to say that's where we fight at least one boss. Yeah, several bosses actually who used magic, but I want to say it wasn't necessarily sorcery. There were some hexes involved.
Hello? Please. Over here.
Okay. Oh, one of those telescopes. Very nice.
Hello? Hello? Right over here.
For a second, I thought it was the crystal thing.
Hello. It's rather chilly here, isn't it? My mistress sent me off on an errand, but I was accosted by a ruffian. And now I'm in a bind. Could I ask you lend a hand? Perhaps. That thug made off with a precious necklace. I need someone to retrieve it. Only, he too is tarnished. If you've any qualms confronting your own, I shall find another.
No qualms whatsoever, friend. Don't you worry.
Oh, thank you dearly. What a blessing that we've met like this. The thug should be resting at an abandoned home down the way. Please, I must have the necklace back.
Oh, down the way. Yes. I will... Thank you for the very descriptive spatial term. Yeah. Don't think down the way is on my compass here. So, hopefully she has some more info.
The thug should be resting at an abandoned home, please.
No. So she's slouching for some reason. Gosh, the camera in here is all wonky. She also has a sort of Princess Leia-esque hairdo. Not quite the same, but... Yeah, she's got, I guess, pigtails, and then they're tied in a bun in the back. I don't know. Why is she standing like that? Do you have scoliosis, friend? I can't imagine that's pleasant. I'm very sorry. But yeah, I guess we'll potentially learn more about her later. Oh, is she a maiden? She does not have a hood. I don't know if a hood makes one a maiden or not. Okay. So we're looking for an abandoned home. And a ruffian. If she's a maiden, I'm wondering if the tarnished who made off with her necklace is actually her tarnished, which would be quite sad. Okay, so this is where our... Oh, it's like... You can actually see where... Wow, so the town is definitely... So I wonder if... So I guess the ruins are maybe something else. Maybe this is like the early stages of whatever was happening. Really do like these. These things make it a lot easier. Again, before in the early stages of this game, I wasn't using all the tools available to me, which is probably why I found the early game exploration kind of trying. In the previous episode, I said, "Oh, it looks like this entire side here is shoreline. And in fact, that's not the case. The shoreline is only at the very end here, at the northern part of it. And the rest of it is, in fact, a cliff side. And then... yeah, it doesn't look like you can get up there. So this, in the middle of the screen right now, that's the Evergaol. I was wondering if the path above it was impassable. It looks like it is. Because I was wondering if maybe you could get up there, then you could make your way over to the Chapel of Anticipation, but that does not appear to be the case. I assume we're going to be going there much later on. So, yeah, I'm just, I want to make the most of this and try to maybe see if we can find this house down the way, an abandoned house. So it could be this here. I want to say that's where... oh, you can't look at the map while looking through the telescope. Fair enough. I want to say this is where the cave is, or here, or something like that. The cave that we unlocked. It might also be here. I actually don't remember. I know it was somewhere on that side. That could also be the abandoned house there, sort of in the center of the screen, above this gazebo in the bottom middle. The bottom center, I should say. So yeah, it could be anywhere. This is the Academy of Raya Lucaria, almost certainly. It looks somewhat similar to Anor Londo, but not really. I don't know what kind of architectural style that is, but it does look like cathedral-esque, which is ironic, seemingly, because I don't think Raya Lucaria, you know, obviously they're not, it's not faith-based, it's not like a religious order. So you can see this bridge here. So that's what we're seeing on the map. There is a bridge, but it's sunk into the lake. And that's where the map is. So, okay. Great. Those things are tremendously helpful. I quite appreciate that. It looks like there's some... oh no, it's just one of those horse friends. Okay. Again, we're going to definitely be missing stuff here. I think I'm just going to make a run for it, actually. We're going to get the map and then use the map. Again, I want to use all the tools available to us to aid in our exploration. Simply because, yeah, I want to finish this playthrough. You know, I want to enjoy it, of course, as well. And, you know, I'm not going to compromise on that. But it's weird just knowing that I'm recording. Oh, that was a... oh, that was a live lobster. It actually did not come after us, thankfully. Okay, I do see a site of grace here, which is tremendous. We might as well have a rest. Academy Gate Town. So, this is where all the quote-unquote townies would be. So in American college towns or university towns, in some places they refer to the people who live in the town who have nothing to do with the school or the university. They refer to them as townies. And so this, yeah, would be where we find the quote-unquote townies of the Academy of Raya Lucaria. Map, Liurnia North. Map of Liurnia's northern region. The Academy of Raya Lucaria towers over the north, while at its base spreads the town built around it, now flooded. Two high roads end their journeys here. So yeah, that's somewhat typical, I think, in the sense that it's almost like the idea of a ghost town in many places in Canada, in the US, I'm sure all over the world. There are entire towns that spring up around particular industrial developments or schools, things like that. And then if for one reason or another that development is no longer profitable, no longer economically viable, whatever the case may be. They've exhausted the mine in the area. Then the corporation, the school, whatever, when they pull out of that town, the rest of the town essentially just collapses, and there's nothing there for them. And so they use, what's the term? Like a parachute, sort of a golden parachute. I might be mixing my metaphors here, but essentially the idea is that the corporation ends up being okay, and the people involved in the corporation, they end up being totally fine, but the town is completely devastated. In this case, it's a little bit more structural in terms of the environment, in that the Academy of Raya Lucaria was obviously built on a high ground, and you wonder whether they knew that this town was invariably going to sink into the ground, because they look like they are quite well off up there. That maybe they knew something the townies didn't. So yeah, just a thought. So now, wow, my goodness, this map gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. So now we have, oh my goodness, wow, so we can actually see the interior. Well, we can see a topographical view, I guess, of the Academy of Raya Lucaria. You can see this bridge which goes all the way across here. There's where that finger reader crone is. Here's that collapsed bridge. Wondering where this shack is. So this is Academy Gate Town. So where that woman is, I think, is here. So there are these gazebos all over the place. There's 1, 2, 3. Don't know where the gazebo is where we found... Oh, this is her. Okay, never mind. Raya the Scout. So she's a scout. She's not a maiden. The fancy friend at the Roundtable Hold. He said there was someone who works for her. I can't remember the name, but Raya sounds familiar. Maybe we should go check. Let's have a look. It was not him, nor him. Oh, he's not even here. So it was him. Okay, that's really interesting. Okay, so maybe it's time for us to get caught up here, actually. Now I'm thinking about it, because... yeah, I never liked the fancy armor friend, other than he's got fancy armor and I'd like to have it. So maybe if it comes down to it, I know which side we're going to pick. But, yeah. Hello.
Ah, you appear to be doing well. Very good. Well then, would you like to learn an incantation?
Okay, yeah, we have quite a few. Oh, that might actually be very useful to have, this thing. Cure poison, magic fortification, flame fortification. Also might be useful to have against that flame worm, whatever that boss's name was. So this one is a shockwave, so rejection. So that's, I guess, force, whatever it was called in Dark Souls. Catch flame, flame sling. Okay, yeah, we're going to get the cure poison. And then we'll give him some prayer books. Fire Monk's prayer book. What can you tell us about the friends with the crown of thorns, the crowns of thorns?
That is a work of heresy. Its incantations bear no lineage from the Erd Tree. Very well. I'll take it off your hands.
Okay, he did not seem very pleased about that. Okay, so let's see what we got from that. Catch flame. Incantation originating from a sinister prophecy. Momentarily sparks flame from the caster's hand. This incantation can be cast without delay after performing another action. The flame of ruin is anathema to the Erd Tree, but prophets sometimes glimpse it within the faith all the same. Sadly, when this occurs, their sole reward is banishment. So, anathema essentially means something that runs counter to the Erd Tree. So, it's the opposite of the Erd Tree. Something that is completely... okay, maybe I should look this up just to make sure I have this definition correct. Yeah, so it's, as a noun, something or someone that one vehemently dislikes, a formal curse by a pope or a council of the church, excommunicating a person or denouncing a doctrine or a strong curse. So, yeah, I guess not quite the opposite of something, but so it's the Flame of Ruin is an enemy to the Erd Tree. But prophets sometimes glimpse it within the faith all the same. So in other words, there are holes in the... Oh, I was trying to get rid of that so I could look at you all, but I'm looking through the menu right now. They catch glimpses within the faith of the Erd Tree, that things are not as simple as the Erd Tree faith makes it seem. That's what I'm gathering from that. And their only reward for that is banishment. So they don't actually encourage critical thought and questioning things as much as they do just blind faith and obedience. Incantation of the Fire Monks momentarily sparks roaring flame from the caster's hand. Charging enhances potency. The giant's flame still smolders upon the distant northern mountaintop, and the Fire Monks are its guardians. So I guess this is kind of like the chaos, I would imagine. Again, not saying that it's necessarily the same thing or that FromSoft is copying and pasting, but in terms of my own experiences with these games, that's my working hypothesis, that it sort of fits into the broader cosmology of the game in a similar manner. That's what I'm thinking. That's my preliminary assessment anyway. So I think that's all we got from that. So let's give him the Godskin prayer book.
That is a work of heresy. Its incantations bear no lineage from the Erd Tree. Very well. I'll take it off your hands.
Sorry, friend. Yeah, I hate to... Ooh, these are actually dark sorceries. Or dark incantations, I should say. A black flame incantation of the Godskin Apostles throws a ball of raging black fire. Charging enhances potency and causes the fireball to explode. Black flame is weighty. After dealing damage, it continues to sap foes' HP for a very short time. Again, I want to say that in Dark Souls 1, Black Flame was also said to be weighty. That is to say, it has weight, there was humanity embedded within it, which is what it meant in that game. Whereas in this game, it might mean something different. It certainly has a different effect, which is that after dealing damage, it continues to sap foes' HP for a very short time. Whereas in Dark Souls 1, Black Flame just did damage, and that was that. This one is Black Flame Blade, engulfs armament held in the right hand with Black Flame. This incantation can be cast without delay after performing another action. Black Flame is weighty. After dealing damage, it continues to sap foes' HP for a very short time. So we don't have the requirements for either of these. Otherwise, I might have picked this one up, although 6,000 runes is a lot to ask of me at this point in time. So, yeah. Interesting stuff. Thanks, Brother Corin.
May the Golden Order shine through you.
And you. I hope that I'm not slowly corrupting that friend by giving them those prayer books. See if there's anything new with any of the remaining friends here.
You have returned. What is it? Great runes are the stuff of demigods, the children of the goddess, Queen Marika, she who is vessel of the Elden Ring. Tainted by the strength of their runes, her children warred, but none could become Elden Lord. And so grace was extended to your kind, the tarnished. Listen. The fingers speak. The greater will has long renounced the demigods. Tarnished, show no mercy. Have their heads. Take all they have left. Indeed. But remember one thing. The demigods are each and all the direct offspring of Queen Marika. Godric the Grafted.
Okay, we actually have heard that. But I don't think I really registered what she said about Queen Marika being a vessel for the Elden Ring. That's what she said, right?
The children of the goddess.
Queen Marika is a vessel, or was a vessel, for the Elden Ring. Wow, that is really interesting. Listen carefully, the fingers are speaking. You will bring me chips and dip. It was a stupid joke the first time I did it. Probably even worse that time. So, yeah, apologies, but I couldn't resist. Okay, it doesn't look like there's much going on, so let's head back. I really want to look for that guy. However, I also want to see what's going on with the Evergaol, so maybe we'll start at the Lakeside Crystal Cave. Okay, I can see and hear demi-humans in here. And by start at the Lakeside Crystal Cave, I did not mean we would actually go through the area. I meant use it as a warp point and then head over to the Evergaol. So apologies if you were very excited for me to do the area just now. Not happening though. At least not at this very moment. Oh gosh darn it. This place is actually not up on the cliff. So yeah, major fail. About the open world areas, like, I know I've complained a little bit about them and, you know, questioned whether, oh, if you break those, does that, there's no items or anything, I don't think, just being destructive, I suppose. You know, maybe questioned is a bit strong, but I have definitely wondered about these areas and why. I think if you were to be very uncharitable, you could say that the open world areas pad out the length of the game. They make it a lot more difficult to get from place to place. Granted, you could just hop on your horse and go to the next place, but again, my assumption was, and this was confirmed with my in my conversation with Sophie Pilbeam, that if you were to skip these areas, you are essentially going to find yourself in a situation in which you're under-leveled relative to where you perhaps ought to be at that point. Oh my gosh, okay, again, these small friends with their tricks, very crafty, and give them credit for that. But yeah, I do wonder whether this is meant to be sort of children of the forest crossed with bloodborne hunters. Anyways, the open world areas, yeah, if you're being very uncharitable, you'd say it pads out the length of the game. Ballista Bolt. If you were perhaps being a bit more charitable, you could suggest, I don't know why I'm even getting that on this non-alluring skull, and it's still, I still found it alluring. If you were being a little bit more charitable, you could argue that the open world areas give you a bit more time to be thoughtful, to think about the world that you're traversing, to have a bit more time to adjust when going from one area to the next. So we're about to get ambushed here by the tiny friends again. And, you know, I was wondering if the number of notes I have for this particular episode is a reflection of that. And, you know, of course, in part, it's a reflection of the fact that, like, in between the previous recording session and this one, I did editing on multiple episodes. So it's more likely that, yeah, I was thinking about these things because I was watching the episodes over again in the process of editing them. But you could perhaps make a case that it's actually a consequence of the fact that... Oh! Fancy moves there, friends. I was just complimenting you to the viewers. Oh, gosh darn it. I should stop being patronizing. They're about to proc my bleeding. And yeah, so, you know, I guess there are many different ways you could look at it. Thank you for the iframes. And I think that, yeah, that's just a couple of ways you might look at it. But, you know, I don't think it's unreasonable to suggest that the open world, there are definitely pros and cons to it in terms of FromSoft's usual gameplay mechanics and FromSoft's usual approach to game design and world design. And another thing I meant to add as well is that whereas in the past, typically you would read about an area and then you'd find yourself in the area and then you'd look off into the distance and there would be some massive part of the area you can't explore, you can't visit. And you're just left to sort of imagine what places are like. You're left to imagine what a particular area is based on the item descriptions. And, you know, yeah, granted, that's part of the charm of Dark Souls and of the Souls storytelling method. But at the same time, you could make an argument that, you know, this game is brilliant in how it brings these areas to life, in that you're literally visiting the areas, you're traversing the areas, you're walking through them, you're experiencing the areas instead of just reading about them, imagining them. And, you know, again, we're visiting many of these areas, quote unquote, after the fall, in a situation in which the world is collapsing, or it has collapsed, perhaps in the case of Caelid, and you're visiting it, you know, long after its heyday. But still, you're visiting the areas. You're not just reading about areas that are, you know, in some other part of the game world, but you can't ever go there. You're there. You're in the lands between, and you're, instead of just going from one castle to the next, you walk. You know, you take the long journey there. So in that sense, it's almost like Elden Ring is the realization of something that we all sort of suspected about Dark Souls 2, which is that in Dark Souls 2, or sorry, I guess you would say it's the antithesis of Dark Souls 2, whereas Dark Souls 2 was seemingly designed around the idea of a hub world a la Demon Souls, where the areas are not connected to one another. You just warp there from a hub area. But in this game, so essentially you would reach the end of the area in Dark Souls 2, and then you'd go up an elevator, and then suddenly you're in a completely different place. And one of the things that we hypothesized as a community about at the time was maybe the whole theme of forgetting in the game. Maybe your character forgets the journey between, defeating one boss and then entering the next area. I was sympathetic to that argument. I'm not sure if I fully buy it, but you can make that argument. But basically the journey between areas is blurred. Whereas in this game, the journey between areas is essentially half, if not more, of the game. Maybe 3/4 of the game, 2/3 of the game. And, there's good and bad that comes from that. So, I don't think it's fair to say it's all good or it's all bad. You take the good with the bad. Again, I don't remember whether these ruin fragments from Super Mario World actually had any impact on the boss fight. However, my concern is that they might still, and so I think I will probably just take them out, even though, again, they're non-aggressive. Oh, gosh darn it. Okay. I did say in the previous episode, I want to get an image of this for the thumbnail. Malefactor's Evergaol. So I don't think it's Malefactor. I think it's Malefactor. So mal meaning, or, I guess the root of malevolent. So mal meaning something bad or something inappropriate. So what is an E factor? Hold on, let me look this up. It's time for Fun with Definitions. Malefactor is, as a noun, a person who commits a crime or some other wrong. So mal meaning ill, and so this is derived from the Latin malefacior, meaning ill do. So like an ill deed, something you did wrong. But as a noun, it's ascribed to a person. The person assumes the identity of the ill deed they committed. Oh, it's beautiful here. And again, I wanted to take an image. I wanted to take a screenshot of this place for the thumbnail. The only problem with that is that I need to shut down OBS and open my other, the Hapage, not Hapage, whatever it is, Elgato capture software, which usually means I need to restart things, and it just takes a long time. So maybe I'll just forget it and find something else for the thumbnail. But before this series ends, one of the thumbnails I'm going to make sure is an Evergaol, but maybe not today. Okay, then let us see what's going on in here. I'll be ready for this boss fight, I guess, is what I should be asking first. We got Jellyfish Friend ready. We have our flask ready. Okay, let's do it. There they are. It's really interesting. So, are they confined to one tiny corner of the area? You wonder about that. Oh, I can't. Is it just because I'm standing on the... Oh, guess. Can't rely on Jellyfish Friend, it looks like. Hello, Malefactor. Adan, Thief of Fire. Looks like he's wearing Smo's armor. Oh, gosh darn it. I can't really blame him for chugging when I'm chugging myself. Oh, much too slow with that. Flame of the Fell God. Interesting. All these things respawn for some reason. I don't remember that being a thing last time. Well, hopefully they're not aggressive. Flame of the Fell God. This legendary incantation is one of several that draws directly from the power of the fire giants. Releases a ball of raging fire said to be inhabited by a fell god. The fireball floats towards enemies and explodes, setting the area ablaze. Oh gosh, this name. Arganthy, the chief guardian of the flame, had kept this incantation a well-kept secret until it was stolen by Adan. The fell god still lurks within the fire giants. Interesting. So we had earlier, was it Murgo? Margit the Fell Omen. And now we have a Fell God. So what the heck is a Fell God? I guess, yeah, I don't really have any need to kill these things anymore. I really should not have bothered with that one. I think I'm still clinging to hope that the that the rune fragments will be of some use. Again, we're probably better off warping. We can remove that marker now. And yeah, we'll warp here. Definitely a bit creepy sounding. Alright, where to now? And also, what the heck is going on here? That does not seem like a natural land formation. Oh gosh darn it, we still don't have a map for this region, eh? Question is, are we better off just... This is the camp with those fire guys. Fire worshippers. Don't remember what they're called. Are we better off sticking to the areas we actually have a map for? Oh, more fire worshippers. Going on a little nature walk, seemingly. I'm actually not sure where to go from here. Once again, it's that Netflix problem. So many things to watch, things to do, possibilities that you just end up feeling overwhelmed and not doing any of them. Uh-oh. We might be at a dead end here. If only... Indeed, friend. Okay. So I guess there's nothing up there. It looks like... Unbelievable. You know, just as I was saying in the last couple of episodes, you know, I need to trust the game more. That I'm not going to die from fall damage, but then there are times where I must have crossed into a kill volume or something, like regardless of the specific fall damage, an area in which the game just says, okay, if you pass through this part, then you're dead. Not really sure what else could have happened there, because that was very strange. So maybe that's the reason we don't have a map for that area yet, because I guess we can't actually get there even, so there really wouldn't be much point. I should be careful now. Add my bloodstain to the pile. Look at all... So many bloodstains. My goodness. The frame rate drop I just experienced, again, not in the recording, that was in the game itself, so once more performance hiccups. You know, I do wonder whether it has something to do with the rain or the weather effects, that the game just can't handle it for some reason. But once more, I feel like when we first started playing this, doing this playthrough, that we were not having these same issues. I think it was the most recent update. Normally, that's the type of thing I would go to, you know, the Elden Ring subreddit or something to get an answer about. But obviously, you know, I'm avoiding spoilers still, so I've not set foot in the Elden Ring subreddit, metaphorically speaking. So there's a crab friend there. It looks quite content to just be eating whatever is on the ground. Oh my goodness, okay. That's bad. So this part of the lake is inflicted with some sort of blight. I want to say that's poison buildup. But yeah, that's, I can hear one of those, vagrant friends. Well, it's a really good thing that we got that spell, or incantation, cure poison. Might actually be needing that. I will get the alluring skull, I don't care. Oh, there they are, okay. Oh no, that's bad. Ash of War, Vow of the Indomitable. Or Indomitable. Okay, are we safe? I think we're safe. This Ash of War grants an armament the Sacred Affinity and the following skill. Vow of the Indomitable. Skill of the Ancient Warriors of the Erd Tree. Hold shield aloft to imbue yourself with golden power, granting momentary invincibility. Usable on all shields. Interesting. Momentary invincibility. Okay, you know, I'm really not sure what to do here. And whether it's worth proceeding in this area where we don't actually have a map. Although, I guess if we go in that direction there, we do actually have a sense of where we're going. And of course, we do also have the cure poison thing, so maybe I should just stop being such a coward and just go for it. Okay. We were looking for an abandoned house, however, so... Oh, I wonder if Torrent would be better suited to this. Oh, well, that makes sense. Although I wonder, does that mean Torrent is actually immune to poison? This here is different than what we were seeing in Limgrave. These people have been hanged. That is a frightening scene. Okay, if you see people being hanged, I imagine it's typically a good idea to not proceed. And yet, we are walking in this direction anyway. Village of the Albinaurics. I'm not sure what determines the name of the area that you see in the save file. Hi, friend. Everything okay? course. Okay, so his blood was white. Is this like a mercury poisoning situation again? A la... There's that NPC. Something Lou. And this place does not seem pleasant. Oh, the abandoned house, maybe. Oh, there's a pile of bodies here, isn't there? Hi, friend. Long time no see. I hope you're doing well.
Oh, it's you. Well, what do you make of it? What's happened to this village? I witnessed a sight much the same in my infancy. The oppression of the weak. Murder and pillage unchecked. A waking nightmare made by men.
Yep, I guess you also played the previous Souls games.
But this time, I'm a woman grown. And though the suffering cannot be undone, I can still mete out justice. Justice to the oppressors. Let the scars I carve remind them. I am Nefeli Lu, warrior.
Well, nice to meet you again, Nefeli Lu, warrior.
But this time, and though the
Okay.
justice,
Yep,
let the
you're
scars-
great. Yep. Alrighty, this took a somewhat unexpected turn. It looks like a site of grace over there. I don't think they're dropping things. I keep hoping for an item. Oh, there's a ghost friend. Okay, let's sit at the site of grace first and foremost. Or light it, at least. First off enemy, then be wary of necessary item. Okay. So I'll have to head up there in a second. But first, we got a ghost friend here. You praising the sun there or something? Like, what's going on? We saw this in the catacombs as well. There are these, like, mushrooms springing up around them. Ooh, this village is done for. Please, even if it's just you, old Albus, hide and still your breath. The amount of time they leave for the lines of dialogue is the same regardless of how long the dialogue is. That's the first thing I wanted to mention. Other thing I wanted to mention, which I meant to add to my list but I actually didn't, is how is our character hearing, understanding, being able to interpret what the ghost is saying? Because for those of you who aren't playing the game and are just watching this, I imagine there might be a few of you out there. In case it wasn't obvious already, I'm the one doing their voices. It's not actual FromSoft voiceovers. So how, something to think about, I guess. How are these ghosts communicating to Regret, or the player character, the Tarnished in this game in general? Okay, yeah, they don't ever say anything other than their initial dialogue either. Okay, yep, the village is done for, that's for sure. Is this the abandoned house? Oh, gosh darn it. Wow, there's a lot of them. Okay. I guess I should stop being condescending to them. And just take care of them. Okie dokes. Larval tear, okay. Larval tear. Core of a creature of mimicry known as a silver tear. As much a substance as it is a living organism. Material required by the amber egg cradled by Renala, queen of the full moon, to birth people anew. Being born anew allows the reallocation of attributes, boosted by leveling up. We finally found the reallocation reroll item. Okay, that's tremendous, but also a frightening item at the same time. So we need to... we need to figure out how to use that. But that's great. So now, this weapon we're currently using won't be... Not that it's an albatross, but we can reallocate our stats and make much better use of those levels that we currently have invested in dexterity. Okay, that's tremendous. Yeah, so there is a ton of dead bodies here. Just overflowing with dead bodies. And so we can go across the bridge, just leading in this direction. Or we can go up here. Try stealth. There's apparently... This friend does not look friendly. I wonder if the lamp is going to give us away. Yeah, that is definitely a tarnished. I wonder if this is the one who stole Raya's thing. Raya's necklace. Oh, rip. Keller's Lily. Okay. Yeah, this is very eerie, this place. Nice try, friend. Oh, there's the, Again, I know that's unlikely what they're actually called. Oh my gosh, is that another jar friend? There's a vagrant friend over there. I know it's not what they're actually called, but still. I'm sticking with vagrant. Hello? Why is the jar glowing? Ivory sickle. I don't want to roll into it in case it is actually a jar friend. Oh, oh.
Please, no. Dear me. I haven't a clue. No secrets lie with me, not a one. Oh, please leave me be.
It's okay, friend. As long as you're not attacking me, we're cool.
Wait then. You're not one of them? Well, what a relief. Oh, goodness me. I am Albus, an Albinauric. As you can see, we're finished. The whole village is finished. The cursemongers have destroyed everything. No one that remains has their wits about them. I beg you. Would you look after this medallion? You must keep it out of the cursemonger's hands.
Oh! Is this the other half of that thing we got earlier, I wonder?
And if you should meet the young Albinauric Latena, then please give it to her.
Okay. Well, thank you, friend. That's very, very kind of you. I assume that's a key item. Yes, it is. So, this we got... Where the heck was it? Far right is said to reside in Fort Faroth in the Dragon Barrel far to the east. Oh, so this is a different medallion. Okay, interesting. Right half of a split medallion depicting the Halig tree. So this one is depicting the Erd tree, so they're different trees. Brandishing the medallion with both halves conjoined, will activate the Grand Lift of Rold, granting access to a hidden path. In other words, this secret medallion will guide the bearer to the land of Miquella's Halig tree. So Grand Lift of Dectus, Grand Lift of Rold. And we have the Erd tree, the Halig tree, as well as the Great tree. So lots of trees and lifts to keep track of here. Okay, thanks, friend.
A chosen land awaits us, Albinaurics. The medallion is the key that leads to the city. It's only a quaint treasure for we who cannot make the journey. But for dear Latena, it is needed to fulfill her purpose.
Okay, well, rest assured, if I meet her, I will ensure that she is given the medallion.
My legs will soon fade, and with them my life. Alas, this is the immovable fate of all Albinaurics.
So, oh. Oh, man, rip. Rip, friend, I'm sorry. I will definitely look out for your friend, even though I've already forgotten her name, but I will keep a lookout, and yeah, when I'm editing this episode, I will be sure to make note of her name. Thank you for your kind direction and not trying to attack my legs. I appreciate it. Okay, so now we have this upper bridge and that lower bridge as well to go across. So we'll stick to our exploration heuristic, which we only kind of use sometimes, but I'm already up here, so up before down it is. So that Albinauric is a spellcaster. Ouch. Okay. And that friend didn't have any items for some reason. Yeah, again, I'm trying some different moves, jump attacks and things like that, because again, I know I'm almost certainly not, I keep falling back into my usual Souls habits in various different contexts in this game, and so I'm trying to avoid that, trying to make sure that I'm not... Gold summons. Oh, Nefeli Lu. Are you here to help me take out this person here? You almost certainly are. We should also maybe call a jellyfish friend as well. Get our whole crew back together. Let's do this, friends. Let's get revenge on this person for all the pain and suffering they brought to those villagers. Omenkiller, okay. Oh. So it's, oh my gosh. So the Omenkiller is basically, oh my gosh, there's even dogs too. The boss of the depths, not the depths, Lower Blighttown. Capper Demon, basically the Capper Demon. Rip Nepheli Lou. Ouch! Uh-oh. Oh, rip. Rip jellyfish friend, sorry. Greedy. Whew. Crucible Knot Talisman. That was a fun boss fight. Again, I'm not suggesting that FromSoft is copying and pasting things from other places. It's obviously a different game, completely different context, different story and everything, but that was almost certainly a reference to the Capper Demon. Boss even had a very similar moveset in that Capper Demon has those two weapons. They're double, having the weapon in the left and the right hand, and they do that thing where they sort of lunge towards you with both weapons, except that insofar as it is a reference to the Capper Demon, they very specifically changed the moveset to play with your expectations in a way. So the first time they followed up after that initial move, I was very taken off guard by that because, it was completely different from what the Capper Demon actually did. So I probably should have read that item before I launched into that explanation of what I was feeling during the boss fight, because I've already forgotten what the heck we picked up. Crucible Knot Talisman. A talisman fashioned from a bony knot that embodies the aspects of various creatures, said to have grown on the human body long ago. Reduces damage and impact of headshots taken. A vestige of the crucible of primordial life, born partially of devolution. It was considered a signifier of the divine in ancient times, but is now increasingly disdained as an impurity as civilization has advanced. Okay, there is a lot to unpack there. A talisman fashioned from a bony knot that embodies the aspects of various creatures, said to have grown on the human body long ago. So it's basically, if you look at the image, you can see there's like a little person there. The head is at the top, and you can see the little mouth and eyes. Maybe I'm just imagining that, but it's described as a vestige of the crucible of primordial life, born partially of devolution. So I assume that means de-evolution. It was considered a signifier of the divine in ancient times, but is now increasingly disdained. So that it's the subject of disdain as an impurity. It's the subject of disdain. It's considered impure as civilization has advanced. I know FromSoft is doing this in a self-aware manner, but I really do, it drives me up the wall when people say civilization has advanced. Oh, as civilization advances, as civilization progresses. Because it doesn't mean anything. It honestly does not mean anything. And I know FromSoft is doing that intentionally. I don't think they're so lacking in awareness so as to use a term like that without knowing exactly what they're doing. But yeah, that's the type of thing, if ever I would see it on my students' essays, I would just basically say, what does this mean? It doesn't mean anything. You need to explain this. Because, you know, advancing civilization for one group of people is not necessarily the same as advancing it for others. So you have to be specific with what you mean by that. But in this instance, perhaps it seems almost like it's analogous to the appendix. And it's sort of, yeah, I don't know. I'm going to need to think about that one because, again, there's a lot to unpack there. It's night, clearly, here because it's pitch black. So, yeah, that was a cool boss fight. I enjoyed that a lot. Now, I need to decide what the heck to do from here. Oh, even with this lamp. I'm having a hard time even seeing anything here. Okay, I don't think you're supposed to be able to land on trees like that. Rune Arc, very nice. Still have not used any of those. Perhaps if we come across a very difficult boss fight, we will, just to sort of get a sense of what it actually does. Okay, so something that I decided to start doing is marking. I know the banner probably, you know, you're probably meant to use that to say, oh yeah, there's an army here or something like that, but I figured as a way of sort of helping myself remember what we've done and what we haven't. Whenever we come across an area, if we complete it, just, you know, popping a little banner down to indicate that we've taken care of whatever the heck is going on there. So, yeah. Figured on the subject of using all the tools we have in our toolbox to ensure that we are exploring the game and all of these areas as efficiently as possible so that we can spend more time exploring the sort of more central areas, the more important areas in the game, then yeah, might as well start using those markers. So let's see if Nefeli Lu has anything to say. You know, I don't even think Nefeli Lu survived the previous boss fight. So I feel kind of bad, but at the same time, you know, like the alternative is what, to just not finish the boss fight? I don't really think that's much of an alternative. So I feel bad, but I also don't. So though we should go see what she's up to. The other thing I was wondering, so this is a completely different abandoned house, I think, than the one Raya the Scout was talking about. So, which is actually amazing when you think about it, that there's two women who have lost medallions in this area, or medallions that have been taken from women in this area that now would like them back, and then we have to try and help them do that. It's kind of strange, but anyways. Oh. Where the heck did she... This shows her as being here. Wonder if we rezone, whether she'll be gone or not. Or, like, rather, whether the marking on the map will be gone. Let's see. Indeed, so the map just shows whatever the state of the world was, I guess, in terms of the NPCs when you last loaded the game. So, good to know. Because I saw Nefeli Lu on the map there and figured, okay, we should go see what she's up to, just to, you know, touch base with her after the boss fight. A little debrief, see what she thought about it, but yeah, not happening, I guess. We should use our runes. Level up. Oh my gosh, we actually can't. It's a good thing I've been chasing alluring skulls for the entire playthrough. Okay, might as well just keep adding points into strength. You know, I wonder if we just use this item here. We can't use it. So, needed by Renala. So we need to find Renala. Or more accurately, I guess we need to find the amber egg cradled by Renala. And then, yeah, we'll be able to rezone. Oh. We already got that, but thanks anyway. I appreciate your kind guidance for other players. Oh my gosh, this is reminiscent of many things. That tree is moving in quite a unnatural way. Okay, I thought something was going to happen there. That was very reminiscent of the Dragon Eerie in Dark Souls 2. As well as in Dark Souls 3. Albinauric Blood Clot. Okay, so we'll learn a little bit about what's going on with their blood, why it's white. As well as in Dark Souls 3 in the Catacombs of Carthus. The thick, coagulated blood of the Albinaurics, material used for crafting items. Albinaurics are life forms made by human hands. Thus, many believe them to live impure lives, untouched by the Erd Tree's grace. They are life forms made by human hands, and that therefore they're impure. Vestige of the crucible of primordial life, born partially of devolution. It was considered a signifier of the divine, but is now a talisman fashioned from a bony knot that embodies the aspects of various creatures. Said to have grown on, a whole lot to unpack here. And this friend over here is just, suffering. I'm sorry, friend. I know. I apologize. Thank you for giving me your blood clot, I guess. So their blood is clotting. And so, it was said by our friendly friend, a friendly Albinauric, that all Albinaurics are fated to have their legs stop working, and then to have them, he was coughing, he had all these ailments and whatnot. So, I'm wondering, Crystal Sword, okay. I'm wondering what the heck is going on here. It's a whole new sort of entanglement of things to figure out in this world, as though there wasn't already enough to figure out. Crystal Sword. Sword fashioned from pure crystal, a deed impossible for a human. Enwreathed with powerful magic, its attack scales with intelligence. The inscrutable Crystallians have but one clear purpose, to safeguard their crystals unto the end. One theory posits that they yearn for the return of their creator, who will carve for them new brethren. So again, this idea of creating life, and I suppose the related notion that created life is somehow impure life, that if it's not life that was, quote unquote, naturally created by something like the Erd Tree. Oh my gosh, I don't have nearly the control to do this with any level of precision. I don't think there's actually any point to doing this, but oh my gosh. Oh, that was close. Oh no. It's difficult to deal with the momentum when you're doing this. Enemy ahead, where? Okay, so there was no reason to do this, but I'm happy we did. Okay, now we just have to try and make our way back down without dying. Whew. Okie dokie. Looks like that's everything over here. Could be wrong about that. Again, we're sort of flying blind here without the map to guide us. So maybe that's an indication that we should just be sticking to the areas in which we actually have a map. And that perhaps that will lead us so we should maybe head in that direction. Okay, not really sure where we ought to go from here. Okay. You're looking pretty fancy, friend. It's like Dalsim from Street Fighter mixed with... I don't even know who. Okay, I have a feeling this is going to be a dreadful idea, attacking this friend. Oh my gosh, there's more of them. Okay, I got so excited I didn't actually parry on time. Oh no. I should not have attacked them. Not quite as graceful as I was expecting. Oh, they're harmonizing. Yeah, this is what I anticipated the problem being with this weapon, is that the requirement that we two-hand our weapon again is just, it makes it very difficult to messed up. Oh, finally. Although, okay, wow, they have a ton of HP, or I'm just not doing nearly enough damage to them. Okay, yeah, I don't think this was a bad idea. It's very rhythmic. Oh yeah, we don't have what we need to fight them. I'm out of there. Okay. We can maybe come back to them later. I'm gonna put, I know I've been using that as a boss marker, but yeah, they might as well be bosses at this point. Okay, that was frightening, but also intriguing. We'll have to come back to that. For now, I think we should head back here and then try to clear this area here. Yeah, I think we bit off a bit more than we could chew there. I was thinking that when I parried them and then I riposted and did virtually no damage, I was thinking initially, oh my gosh, they have so much HP. And then I was thinking, oh my gosh, I didn't properly two-hand my weapon. As it turns out, I did two-hand my weapon, it's just I wasn't doing any substantial damage. It's like fighting King Vendrick in Dark Souls 2 without any giant souls on your person. You're gonna have a bad time. Or at least a very slow boss fight. I remember that was, for me, the massive challenge initially in Dark Souls 2 was, can you defeat King Vendrick? I want to say in my first playthrough I didn't even bother. I just went to New Game Plus, and then eventually came back around to it, but eventually it actually became not all that difficult at all. Certainly not once I realized adaptability and how all of that worked in terms of the iframes in Dark Souls 2, because it's obviously unique compared to the other games in the series. Oh, you have this weird mist as well, friend. Can you tell me what it is? Is it sleep? It freaks me out because, like, I've still not seen a build-up or anything, which leads me to wonder that, yeah, you wouldn't have all these enemies doing this attack, but, like, I don't want to just sit there and let it build up without actually knowing what it does. Oh my gosh, Aegon, what are you doing? Grave Violet. Okay, we've not cleared that one yet. That gazebo. Which gazebo is the one with the friend with 1,000 arms and the teleportation moves? Because that's one I desperately want to mark off the list. Or to mark off on the map, because, yeah, I just don't want to go back there. So again, I don't know, I go back and forth about this, but I've been thinking that I might do some exploration off camera in areas in which I've already sort of cleared them on camera, just to make sure I'm not missing things, and then maybe I can do like a recap later on to say, oh yeah, I went to this area and did all these things, but I also don't want to miss important things on camera, so I don't know, I'm torn. It's very time consuming, I think, to comb every square meter of the map. But unless you do that, it can be very easy to miss things. Your friends are very annoying. They're all bunched up. It's kind of a waste of time actually doing the riposte on them. Oh, why am I? Forgot I have a bow. I'll just use this. Much easier. I suppose the advantage of doing the riposte attack is that you get the iframes, which are helpful when they're spewing out poison. Talk about impurity. Okay, is there nothing to this? Oh. Ah, smithing stone level 2. It's not a tremendous item to get, but not terrible either. How many of those do we have? Oh, we have 12. Okay, not quite what we needed, but okay, we can mark this thing off on the map. Gosh darn it, I'm gonna have to remember square, not X. There's a big bear friend. Or a small bear, is that a small one? Oh, wow, the poison arrows don't fly very far. Thought we could aggro them and get them to come down here. I guess not. Like, I'm just collecting all of this. All of these craftable items, or crafting materials, I should say, and I've barely crafted anything. So, again, another thing maybe I should start doing off camera. So that I'm not just sitting here in the menu crafting items. Because yeah, way too much in this game to do. Overwhelming, as I've mentioned many times in this playthrough already. So we probably could get up there to where the bear is, but I'm not going to do that. What is that? Okay, I don't think we've cleared that yet. But yeah, anyway, so, you know, I was just thinking maybe, because going back to Limgrave would be, I think, very boring to do on camera now. I don't think there'd really be much for people to see. Like, I suppose provided I didn't miss things. But even then, like, say I missed an area or something, I could go there, find it, and then just explore it on camera later. I don't know. Because the enemies there, you know, again, provided they don't scale with your level, which I don't think they do, but the enemies there would be so far below where we are that it just, you know, I don't think that would make for very interesting viewing, but maybe I'm wrong. Always just sort of exploring these things and thinking about them when we are working on this playthrough, so not sure. None of that is certain, and by the time you're watching this anyway, I will have already done it, so one way or the other anyway. This is almost certain to be a site of grace, no? Well, it's just another church. Purified Ruins, okay. Better to be Purified Ruins than impure ruins, I would think. Fortnite, haha. I see a ghost friend. So as well as a statue of Marika. This might be an area we want to return to if our plan is to clear the lake first. What the heck is that? Looks like it could be a ballista, but it almost looks like a shellfish or something. Statue of Marika, so it's active, according to the top left. Hi, friend. Ooh. Come out, one and all, from the darkness underground, and let us offer unto the maiden arise. When you make a mistake and you have to correct it while in the middle of doing a ghost voice, it doesn't typically work out very well. Speaking of things not working out well, that ambush. Oh no. Oh gosh darn it. I did not deserve to win that. That friend more than earned that kill, but whoops. Golden Rune, level 3. Good job. Wherever FromSoft is responsible for placing these things on the map, they know what they're doing. They definitely know that everyone's going to be rolling into these things. Hello. Ah! There is a person there. Whoa. I finally did it. I two-handed my weapon before the parry. Oh no, this is bad. Hello. How you doing? Oh, I'm just trying to figure out your pathfinding. I know, it's hard. Oh my gosh. That's what I get for being cheeky. Oh, Aegon! Wow. Wow, synchronized there. Good job, guys. Okay, I think I'm slowly getting adjusted to that. I did not deserve to survive that, though, honestly. Let's get Jellyfish Friend. We need them. Help us, Aurelia. Yeah, those glintstone things are actually... Oh, I walked out of Jellyfish Friend's zone right away. These things are quite... I was not expecting them to be quite as effective as they are turning out to be. Raya Greaves. Okay, interesting. Greaves worn by Raya Lucaria Academy soldiers. Rust-worn and stained through unending conflict. Sensing a recurring theme here. All of these things being rust-stained through unending conflict. Okay, so there's a wormhole there, but it's not active. Oh, it is active. Okay. Never mind. I guess the graphics just took a second to load. Okay, let's see what is going on here. I wonder what kind of purification is happening here. And how? Okay, so up until this point, the wormhole has typically led straight ahead. So, could it possibly lead up there? Nope. Okay, so either I'm imagining that they all lead straight ahead, or this one actually leads to... This one does not lead straight ahead. This one leads right to the gate. So I wonder if that's supposed to be like a gameplay concession to those who would rather not bother going through the open world areas and they just want to skip right to the Elden Lord boss fight areas, the areas in which you find the Elden Lord. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of weird. Okay, we need to head east. Okay, so what have we successfully explored here? This spot here is good. And so, yeah, I don't know. I don't know whether any of this will be interesting at all to watch. But for my own purposes, and so that you all are not having to watch me walk into the same area over and over again and saying, oh, I'm not sure if I've been here before. And then realizing a few minutes later, wait, I have actually been here before. So in an attempt to avoid that as much as possible, I think I'm going to, continually update the map with these markers. I really hope there isn't like a limit to the number of markers you can actually place. Again, I want to say we've been here. We definitely have, because there was a corpse there with an item on it, and we definitely picked that up. And then these friends came out blind as ever. Oh, that was a smithing stone level 3. Okay, that's interesting. So we can farm these friends for smithing stones. Oh no, are you joking? Okay, so this is a significant discovery. Because level 3 smithing stones, oh my gosh, is exactly what we're looking for. It's the whole reason we came to this area, or at least that was my justification for it. Ah, that was dreadful. Let's try that again. There's a ghost friend. I want to say we've spoken to that ghost friend, but not 100% sure. Again, wish it were easier to just sort of mentally place these markers, because then as soon as I spoken with a friend, I could just boop, and it would work. Oh, gosh darn it. What's going on, friend? You okay? Ooh, come out, one and all, from the darkness underground, and let us offer unto the maiden our eyes. Oh yeah. I'm remembering I definitely made that voice those lines earlier, so my bad. It has been several hours since we first arrived in this area. I had to go out, run some errands, eat dinner, and now I'm back. Oh my gosh, and ready to get my rear end handed to me once more. Whew. So you can handle these friends. It's the doggos that consistently mess me up. No. Ooh, Even the one-handed parry was sufficient, oddly enough. Oh, that was very close. Gosh darn it. Come on, level 3 smithing stone. Ooh, Rylacarian helm. That's actually a pretty fancy looking helm. Helm worn by Rylacarian Academy soldiers. Its brow is adorned with a single cuckoo's feather. Shall we see how it looks? I somehow doubt that it could look... Okay, I take it back. I was gonna say somehow doubt it could look better than the other headpiece, but I was definitely wrong. Oh my goodness. That is, yep. That's definitely a look. What did we lose? Was it HP or something? Oh my, yeah, it's vigor, it increases, which, yeah, that's fine. We don't need extra vigor. Not when we're although we are fat rolling now, that's an interesting consequence. None of these are capable of bringing us to a medium roll, except for the commoner's simple garb, but okay, I guess we'll stick with the Crimson Hood for now, and then maybe we'll come back to that once we have, I imagine endurance is probably responsible for equip load, but I'm actually not 100% sure, so don't quote me on that, but it was definitely endurance that was responsible for equip burden in Dark Souls 1. Okay. One more thing of ruins down. So before we even pick that up... Oh, thank you, everyone. Everyone is rating my messages now. I assume it has something to do with the fact that you're playing the game a bit more often and more people are seeing your messages, so therefore more likely to rate them. Angel Ahead, by the way, praise the beautiful. That seems to be the... yeah, that's definitely the most popular one, which I appreciate because... You know, words of affirmation scarcely hurt anyone. Cuckoo Glintstone. Cuckoo Glintstone. Lump of broken glintstone enwreathed with magic power. A faux sorcery used by the Knights of the Cuckoo. A craftable item. Launched straight ahead and using FP. A magic bolt springs forth from the point of impact. So a cuckoo... I'm certainly going to get the details wrong. But, oh, interesting. A cuckoo is a bird that mimics its... I'm not exactly sure. They mimic something for their own gain, essentially. And so I think the whole idea behind them being the Cuckoo Knights is that they're using sorcery even though they're not sorcerers. So they've been equipped by the Rylacarian sorcerers with these fake sorceries, presumably to sort of help them defend against whatever they're defending against. Could this be a fruit? Shabriri grape. So we've already got one of those, I think, unless that's a different quote-unquote grape. So we had the Beast Eye. Yeah, we have already had one of these. It was given to us by the ghost that we met after defeating Godric. So we can give that to a blind maiden. Is this a trapped chest? No trap ahead. Visions of fruit. Two Fingers Heirloom. A talisman engraved with the legend of the two fingers raises faith. Fingers cannot speak, yet these were eloquent. Persistently did they wriggle, spelling out mysteries in the air. Thus did we gain words, the words of our faith. So the image appears to depict three people bowing at the feet of fingers. So, yeah. Again, not really certain at this point what to make of that, but presumably the whole idea of them, making words in the air is their some form of sign language, which is interesting. Or, relying on a quote-unquote finger reader to speak for them and, of course, coerce people into going on snack runs for them. Chips and dip and pretzels. You gotta have pretzels. Or, if you have a Costco membership, pretzel chips. I don't know if that's a thing anywhere else. It's a thing in Canada, and they're every bit as delicious as they sound. Or perhaps dreadful as they sound, depending on your perspective. Okay, so I'm not really sure what we're doing here. I don't know why my voice is cracking as though I'm a prepubescent boy, but yeah, I don't really have a goal here, except perhaps clear this area out and rule it out for further exploration using our new cartography system, our new mapping methodology. Foot Soldier Tabard. I'm pretty sure we've read that already, but just in case, let's have a look-see. Yeah, with more than a few stains. Widely issued to foot soldiers in a lord's army. So this one over here is the one with the wormhole. Just want to make sure once again that we're marking all these things on our map. Just thinking about the direction here. So facing this way. Yeah, I guess maybe it was a coincidence that those other wormholes led more or less in the direction they were pointing. Or maybe I was imagining that. Oh, yeah, I'm not sure. Okay, once again, this area we have explored. So maybe it's as simple as using torrent more often to cut down on the amount of time you actually have to spend exploring. I keep wondering what this... Just a bunch of twisted metal, or is it... Oh, it's one of the flame tanks. Interesting. I wonder if that's supposed to be... Oh, what are they called? One of the Oni? They look Oni-like. Those Japanese demons. Okay, so... some more foot soldiers over there, or is that... No, I don't know. Who? What? Okay, they each have many arms. Too many arms. Oh, gosh darn it. I keep doing that because when I'm on my feet and two-handing my weapon, that's just a block. I'm not intending to hit torrent. These demi-humans or what? Wow, okay. It's a little bit frightening. The doggo over here. Okay. All this has been taken care of. That ahead of us is the Stormville Castle. I don't know where these four-armed friends are going. Man spiders, seemingly. Unless they're just not going in any... Oh. Oh my gosh, what is that? Is that like a weather balloon? What the heck? Ouch. Wow, so they're basically General Grievous from Star Wars. Oh my gosh. You're quite talented there, friend. But eventually you gotta reload. Okay, rip. Sorry, friends. You are very interesting. Marionette soldier helm. Cylindrical helm of plate metal reinforced with a lattice, worn by marionette soldiers, crafted to serve the sorcerers. The construction of this helm is remarkably crude. For a doll, the only thing that matters is that it does not break. So these are not human. They're dolls like the doll. Okay, that's... So, at the Academy of Raya Lucaria, they're getting up to all sorts of shenanigans. That is indeed a weather balloon. You can see the flame being used to keep it afloat right there. Yeah, Raya Lucaria Academy. They're up to all sorts of shenanigans and playing around with life and, you know, messing with all of these eldritch horrors. So, again, not that they're copying the story of these earlier games, but certainly they are touching on a lot of very similar themes. And in this case, yeah, the idea of... It even goes back to Dark Souls 2, the idea of Aldia messing with life and trying to create a way... Well, really, yeah, again, every Souls game and every FromSoft game that I've played has essentially hit on the same theme of the horror of eternal life and the lengths that people will go to in order to pursue it. They'll go much too far and just... do some dreadful things. There's another site of grace. Some more sorcerer-looking friends on the way, I think. Liurnia Highway South. Got some marionettes up on the rocks there. Oh, gosh darn it. Oh, well played, friend. Oh, that was not smart, though. Definitely did yourself dirty there by jumping down and getting confused. Okay, so again, yeah, Raya Lucaria, there's some really shady and horrifying things happening here, but also some very interesting things. Like, I want to know what's going on with this weather balloon. Someone's nipping at my heels. I can't even... Oh, there you are. Hi, friend. Nice try. Okay, it has a health bar. That's interesting. Golden Rune level 6. Have we had a level 6 one yet? Those born at the foot of the Erdtree are blessed. At least, yeah, okay, we have had that one already. These more marionettes they are. Oh! Well played, friend. Got a little bit overzealous there. Okay, interesting. I'm really curious as to where this highway leads. Oh, gosh darn it. Regret, you might want to deal with those arrows, friend. Thankfully, they just disappear after a while. There are quite a few of these marionettes just knocking about. Oh, that was close. Oh. Yeah, they are not easy to parry. Yeah, because you watch one arm, and then they're doing something completely different with their other pair of arms. So I'm just going to stick to not parrying them. Such a massive area to explore. Is that an NPC? It does not look like it. I saw the campfire and was hoping that it was going to be another, Ooh. No, it's not a campfire. Sorcerer friend. Oh, no, not even a sorcerer. Sorry, never mind. I've fought one of these friends already in this area, so... Oh, so many dogs, though. Why? Someone at FromSoft really just hate dogs. Okay, guys, what's the scariest monster possible? I know, a dog! Dagger. Yeah, you know, I gotta say... Switching to this weapon was a good decision. I feel good about it. I'm really enjoying it. Stormhawk Feather. Certainly more than I was enjoying the halberd. I didn't dislike the halberd, but just, I don't know, just very bland sort of weapon. I enjoy the moveset for this one quite a bit. Rare of me to use a weapon that, yeah, requires or scales with faith, and yet that's exactly what I'm doing. Okay, I'm going to continue dropping breadcrumbs a la Hansel and Gretel. Even though I've been not at all consistent about doing it up to this point. graphical issues are just becoming more and more pronounced, unless I'm just imagining that. But like you just, and it really takes you out of it. You know, you're thinking, oh my gosh, I'm exploring this massive area in this world, and it's so beautiful and scary, and there's so much to explore, and it's wonderful. And then you poke your head up over a hill, and a bunch of grass just pops in out of nowhere, and you're like, oh, okay. Yeah, so that aspect is a little bit disappointing. It looks like there's another site of grace there. Oh, and there's a battle happening. Okay, so what the heck? It looks like the Raya Lucaria forces are fighting some sort of apparitions. They look almost like the friends you can summon. I don't know who would have summoned them though. Gosh darn it, as fascinated as I am by that, we don't really have time to proceed in that direction. We still have to finish combing this area over here. But as soon as I see a site of grace, that's where I'm going, so that's why I just said F it. This marks Millennia's southward march. The blade of Mikella and her clean-wrought knights grant her wings never to be clipped. So the name Clean-Wrought Knights is seemingly, yeah, a reference to those soldiers who were driving around in these tanks, burning all of the townspeople in Caelid. Clean-Wrought Knights. That's a horrifying and fascinating title for them. Okay, there's another. In the distance there's another hot air balloon. There. I don't know why I'm even bothering picking up rune fragments. I don't even know what they're for. I assume crafting, but, you know. I do know why I'm still picking up the golden runes. So are these recon devices? That's so interesting. I assume, like, I can't think of any other explanation for them other than the Academy of Raya Lucaria is using them for reconnaissance. Okay, that's the site of grace we've already found. Wow, that's apparently the sun? I don't feel like we've actually been able to see it at this point. Where are we facing? That is southeast. Why is the sun setting in the east? Oh no, sorry, it's literally on the compass. I had it backwards. West. Sometimes I get east and west confused. Please forgive me. So it is actually setting in the west in an Earth-like manner. I don't know whether the factors which are responsible for determining the direction of the rotation of a planet is well known. I suspect it is, but I don't know enough to say one way or the other. But it would seem, in this case anyway, that this planet spins in the direction you might expect it to spin. Okay, here's a giant friend who appears to be done dragging that chariot and is just clocking out for the day. Yep. So that means there's something in that chest over there. Gosh, yeah. I'm always afraid to take the main path in this game, especially since when we were in Caelid, we were walking off the main path and saw all of those zombies just sort of doing their thing. This is obviously a massive ambush waiting to happen. Uh-oh. Probably should have sat at the site of grace. There was really no reason not to. Thank goodness I've actually finally got used to having a jump button, because that's one of many occasions in which that's actually saved me. How did this friend not realize all their comrades dying around them? Yeah, and I guess the mechanic which results in the refilling of your flask, my suspicion is that the rate at which it refills your flask is so much higher in the open world because they're trying to encourage you to explore more and to fight friends out in the open world, because then you're far more likely to not, need to go back to the site of grace every few minutes. Not sure if I want to fight this friend, but I feel like when they see us, they're going to be very upset. Yeah, okay. Oh, couldn't get around their arm quickly enough. Oh, I got greedy. Oops. Once again. Rep friend, my apologies. Okay. Tree spear. Golden spear with tree-like design, wielded by knights employed as palace guards in the royal capital of Lionel, deals holy damage. Requiring superior dexterity to wield, this great spear can perform consecutive thrust attacks despite its larger size. Skills: Sacred Order. Skill of the Golden Order Fundamentalist Knights. Perform a salute and grant the armament Holy Essence. Highly effective against those who live in death. Okay, if only I had a horse. And then jumping off. Yeah, that's definitely a dead end. Okay, headed back. I think we are just about out of time here. So I'm going to want to actually mark some things here. So we've dealt with that. I'll say we dealt with this area as well. Perhaps also that area. So in areas in which you're not actually marking obvious things, it might be a good idea for me to just... Ooh. Just seeing these... Oh, so I guess we could have just hopped down here from up there. Okay, that makes sense. Oh well. Yeah, I guess before we call it an episode, let's go see what's going on with all these friends having a little battle over here. But yeah, I wonder if there's something similar happening in this area where there's some enemy or friend who's just... That's interesting. Oh, this is supposed to be a marionette, I guess. Really fascinating stuff. Yep, these friends have definitely been summoned. They are bleeding white, seemingly. Whoa. Oh my gosh, there's even more of them. Wow, okay, I'm fascinated by this. I think it's they're wandering noble, but then there's also noble sorcerers there. So what happens now? Whose side do they take? Oh, Lucerne. Oh my goodness! Okay, so this is the giant from the north we were reading about? Oh my goodness. Get him, wandering noble friends. You can do it. You got this. That giant doesn't know what hit him. Won't know what hit him. Oh my. I think it might have been, in the crystal. Oh, critical attack, friends. You can do it. Oh, come on. Okay. Oh. Okay, our wandering nobles are doing a lot better than I expected them to, given that... Oh, there they go. Given that they're all base level, essentially. Okay, so this guy is a fancier version of the giants. In other words, he's a sorcerer. I think we read about that in the crystal. There they go. The crystal sword, I think it was. No, maybe not. Okay. Wandering Nobles did quite well there. I'm impressed, I gotta say. Oh. How long is this gonna go on for? So something I meant to point out in the, maybe it was in the previous episode or in this one, just thinking about our experience in Stormville Castle and how, you know, I came to the conclusion that there's multiple different ways you can go through the area. And even just now thinking about Raya Lucaria and the whole idea that you have to go get this key to get in. But I imagine there's probably an alternate entrance. And that would definitely be in keeping with what we experienced in Stormville Castle, where there's multiple different possibilities for how you go through the area. And yeah, I like that a lot. I think that's tremendous game design. And something very, very admirable that FromSoft, you know, just making this massive, massive game in a way that, you know, many other developers would just phone it in and, you know, put, particularly these friends are, they have no idea what a critical attack is. Oh. Oh my goodness, okay, we're gonna have to fight the giant, aren't we? Yep. Unless he just... Does he just warp away from here? Sorry, giant friend. That's definitely new when fighting a giant. Ouch. Nice little homing soul mass there, friend. GG. Who's this? Some friend on horseback over there. Looks quite fancy. Okay, ooh, crystal dart. Okay, I think that's gonna do it. Might as well loot all the items. Golden Rune 6. Kaku Surcoat. Wow, what a battle here. Just bodies and chaos everywhere. Okay, but I think, yeah, that's as good a place as any other. I think in the next episode, we're either going to proceed in that direction, although, I guess if we were going in that direction, then that would be the ultimate destination. Looks like there might be another Evergaol there. But I do want to check out the Lakeside Crystal Cave and, you know, perhaps finish exploring the lake area here. Everything leading up to the Academy Gate Town, perhaps. But yeah, I think I'll need some time to think about it and figure out where we're going and what we'll do next. But I think we've made a good dent in the Gosh, I can't even talk anymore. It's so late. The Liurnia Lake area. What the heck is it called? Liurnia of the Lakes area. So thank you all very, very much for joining me, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.